You know, if you were to look at the dashboard of a commercial airplane, and every single warning light was just flashing at exactly the same time.
Right, like total chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Red lights, yellow lights, all the alarms blaring. You just assume the system is in total catastrophic
Or
failure.
absolutely, you'd brace for impact.
Right. But what if you looked out the window and realized the plane was actually, accelerating, like flying faster and higher than ever before?
That is such a wild image. But yeah.
Well, that is exactly what Wednesday, July 15, 2026 feels like. Today, we are doing a deep dive into the Daily Tech Reader and their aggregated reporting. And our mission is to synthesize this world of, well, extreme contrasts.
It really is dizzying. We have these massive geopolitical supply chain blockades colliding right into explosive technological acceleration.
Yeah, and record-breaking cultural moments, too.
Yeah.
It is a world of total whiplash for anyone paying attention. So, okay, let's unpack this by starting with the heaviest weight on the global scales right now.
The geopolitical pressure cooker.
Exactly, the ongoing conflict with Iran. Because those ripple effects really explain everything else we are going to discuss today, from tech stocks down to the price of oil.
It is the foundational layer of the news cycle right now. You just cannot understand the global markets without looking at Capitol Hill first.
So, looking at Capitol Hill, House Republicans have just unveiled this massive $95 billion legislative package.
Right, which is just a staggering number.
It is. And, just to be completely clear to you listening, we are not taking sides here or endorsing the politics of this spending package or the GOP or the war itself.
Right, we are just looking strictly at the facts as they are reported to understand the global impact.
Exactly, just looking at the raw geopolitical math. And the math shows that while there is some domestic aid for farmers and stricter voter registration rules in there, a massive $73 billion is specifically earmarked for Iran-related military costs.
Which really highlights the severity of the situation.
Yeah.
Vice President Vance is actually on Capitol Hill today, personally rallying the GOP.
Right, actively pushing this through. And this urgency is happening in the shadow of a really massive structural shift in the Senate.
Yeah, the sudden passing of Senator Lindsey Graham on July 11th.
Yeah, he was 71. And the reporting noted the cause was an aortic dissection, which is a sudden tear in the heart's main blood vessel. It's incredibly fast.
And highly lethal. But the timing is what makes this so striking from a geopolitical timeline standpoint.
Right, because it happened just hours after he returned from a trip to Ukraine.
Exactly. And because Senator Graham was basically the leading hawkish voice for U.S. military action against Iran, his absence just scrambles the entire legislative dynamic.
Just as this $73 billion funding is being debated, so the succession plan in South Carolina is moving at, like, breakneck speed.
They don't have time to wait.
No, they really don't. His sister, Darline Graham, was just appointed as interim senator until January 3rd.
But the permanent replacement is being decided super fast, right?
Oh, yeah. There is a special GOP primary set for August 11th to pick the nominee who will face Democrat Annie Andrews in November. The political machinery just does not stop.
It can't stop. Because the physical reality on the ground in the Middle East is fundamentally altering global supply chains right now.
I mean, I was looking at the marine traffic data for the Strait of Hormuz.
So the bottleneck there is just unprecedented.
Yeah, it's literally a ghost town. They showed just 13 commercial ships transiting in the past 24 hours.
Which is wild when you consider it was at 110 ships per day before the war.
Wow, from 110 down to 13. I mean, it's like taking a 10-lane superhighway that supplies the entire world's economy and suddenly reducing it to a single dangerous dirt path.
That is exactly what's happening. And it's because of direct Iranian attacks combined with a U.S. naval blockade.
Right, so insurance companies basically categorize it as a red zone.
Exactly. But what's fascinating here is the duality of the situation. Because while the U.S. is preparing this massive funding for a sustained conflict, they're also hitting the brakes operationally.
Wait, they are pausing airstrikes?
Yeah, they are deliberately pausing strikes to avoid a total escalation. It gives diplomats in Qatar and Pakistan room to breathe and, try to salvage negotiations.
Because that framework from last month totally collapsed, right?
Yeah, the June 17 Memorandum of Understanding completely fell apart, so now they are working through back channels to rebuild from zero.
Which brings us right into the economic ripple effect, because that geopolitical choke point at Hormuz is creating a bizarre, split-screen economy.
The anxiety markets versus the tech boom.
Exactly. On one side, Brent crude oil is up over $82, and refiner stocks are hitting all-time highs. And gold is holding above $4,130 an ounce.
That is for a fourth consecutive session, by the way. Gold is up 10% in just 3 weeks.
Which is just a massive safe haven inflow because of the Iran uncertainty. But then on the exact same day, earnings season is beating the 20% growth projection.
The AI and tech counterweight is just defying gravity.
Yeah, look at ASML. They beat Q2 estimates, raised guidance, and their stock is up over 60% year to date.
Because of the EUV machines.
Right. Their CEO, Christophe Fouquet, explicitly stated that EUV supply cannot meet demand through 2026.
And that demand is driving the banking sector too. Morgan Stanley just beat estimates with $2.58 in earnings per share.
Driven by record wealth management, right?
Yes, and crucially, their pipeline advisory role on the anticipated OpenAI IPO. Even Bank of America and Wells Fargo rebounded because credit quality was better than feared.
And then you have SK Hynix. They had that massive 27% rebound to $186 on the NASDAQ.
Right after Seoul's worst single-day drop ever.
Yeah, completely erased it. Fueled by Barclays upgrading them and South Korea announcing a record AI budget.
So I have to ask, if there is a massive war spending bill and global shipping lanes are basically blocked, why are we seeing huge tech rallies? Shouldn't the market be panicking?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it is because investors are living in two different timelines. They are hedging with gold and oil for the geopolitical reality of today.
Right, the physical world. Exactly. But they are pouring money into AI, like ASML and the OpenAI IPO, because technology is operating on an exponential growth curve. It feels insulated.
Although geopolitics is starting to build walls inside that tech boom too, NVIDIA's stock actually fell 3.5%.
Right, because of the new compliance whitelist.
Yeah, they had to cut their Asian chip buyer list in half due to U.S. export controls, tied directly to the Iran war and competition with China.
So the real world is definitely bleeding into the digital one.
Speaking of the real world, while the financial markets are running hot, for 125 million Americans listening right now, their physical environment is quite literally baking.
Layering environmental stress right on top of global anxiety.
Yeah, Wednesday is the absolute peak of this massive heat wave for the Northeast. Philadelphia is forecasted to hit 107 degrees.
107 in Philly is just brutal.
And New York City is looking at 103 degrees. We are seeing daily temperature records at risk in places like Plattsburgh and Syracuse, New York.
And it is not just the heat. We have to talk about the air quality.
Oh, the Canadian wildfire smoke. It is making everything so much worse.
There are over 800 active fires in Canada right now, plus another dozen or so in northern Minnesota.
And all that smoke is blowing right into the Midwest and Northeast. The National Weather Service is literally issuing simultaneous heat and air quality alerts.
It is a compound hazard. You can't open your windows to cool down because the air is toxic.
There is some relief coming this weekend, though. An upper trough is moving in.
But even that comes with a cost.
Yeah, northern New England is facing severe thunderstorms tonight. We're talking 70-mile-per-hour winds, large hail, and potential tornadoes.
Just to break the heat dome.
Right. So what does this all mean? When you check your phone today, you are seeing alerts for a multi-billion-dollar war, tech IPOs breaking records, 107-degree extreme heat, and toxic air alerts all at once.
It is a recipe for extreme psychological burnout. The human brain is not built to process that much systemic threat simultaneously.
Which acts as the perfect transition to the global release valve.
Exactly. Historically, when society is under immense pressure, humanity turns to massive communal events for relief.
Which perfectly explains why the World Cup happening right now is shattering literally every record in the book.
It is the ultimate distraction. And the narrative has been incredible.
Oh, it really has. In Atlanta, Argentina defeated England 2-1 in the semifinal.
England actually struck first, right?
Yeah, Anthony Gordon scored in the 55th minute. But then Enzo Fernandez hit this crazy long-range equalizer in the 85th minute.
And the finish was just cinematic.
92nd minute. Alexis McAllister hits a shot off the post, and Lautaro Martinez heads in the winner.
But we have to talk about Messi's role in this.
Right. At 38 years old, Lionel Messi assisted both of Argentina's goals.
He is just cementing his legacy moment in real time, defying age entirely.
And the audience for this is just staggering. The broadcast drew 47 million viewers on Fox and Telemundo.
47 million? Wow.
Yeah, it broke the record set by the France-Spain match, which was 43 million. This Argentina game is now the largest non-final U.S. soccer broadcast in history.
And that kind of viewership translates to incredible economic impact. Across the 16 U.S. host cities, the estimate is now $8 billion.
Up from the initial $6.5 billion forecast. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Let's look at Sunday's final at MetLife Stadium.
Argentina versus Spain.
Exactly. The New York-New Jersey region alone is projected to bring in $1.5 billion just from the final weekend,
That is basically the GDP of a small island nation.
all generated by 90 minutes of a game. It is wild. And the storylines for the final are perfect. Argentina is trying to be the first back-to-back winner since Brazil in 1962.
And Spain has conceded only one single goal all tournament, a historic defensive run.
It is the ultimate narrative clash. You have a 38-year-old Messi seeking his final crown, going up against Spain's Lamine Yamal.
Who is only 18 years old, aiming to be the youngest winner ever.
The projections for viewership on Sunday are astronomical.
And it isn't just about soccer. In a really fragmented, intense world, live sports are the last remaining monoculture. It is the only thing that can unite 50 million people in a single moment of shared experience.
It is the perfect counterbalance to the rest of the news. I mean, the incredible whiplash of today's landscape is just something else.
From the Strait of Hormuz and heat domes to AI billionaires and Messi.
Right. But before we wrap up, this raises an important question, doesn't it?
It does. This raises an important question when you combine two fleeting details we discussed today. We saw Morgan Stanley prepping the OpenAI IPO, right?
Yeah, bringing it to the public markets.
But we also saw NVIDIA slashing its Asian buyer list by half because of U.S. export controls.
So what happens when those two forces collide?
Exactly. Once OpenAI becomes a publicly traded entity, legally beholden to shareholders to expand globally, how will that inevitably collide with the U.S. government's tightening grip on AI as a geopolitical weapon?
Especially with the Iran and China conflicts escalating.
It is a massive clash between open markets and national security, and it is something you should definitely keep a close eye on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for taking this deep dive with us today. It has been a wild ride. Stay curious, keep an eye on those global supply lines, and definitely stay cool in the heat. We will catch you next time.